Hey, Dub, what's up with your audio? Mizzle said Alvin is back. I know it can be laughing, man. It just sounds funny. He said even Knox said sounds like Alvin. DJ Scribble. Maybe Prince. Y'all are so wrong. Well, I guess I'm by myself. So, welcome. Welcome to show 98. I'm sure when I get my co-host back, he will be throwing out some knowledge about the show tonight. And all I will say is welcome in. Let's have a little fun. And Knox, I agree with you, a little Michael as well. Um, hopefully Doug could get his I don't know what's up with this system. Maybe hopefully he could get it working and get things going. I don't know who else is joining us, Mizzle or Knox. I don't know if you guys are joining us tonight. Let me know in the chat. Just want to kind of find out. But hopefully everybody's good, man. We're trying to get things moving in the right direction. We will have fall brawl coming up for everyone, obviously later this year, and obviously we'll be talking about all the goings on with that and us being. I think we're back at Matter Academy. I hope we are. I know that they've got some building going on. Hopefully we're done by the time we are looking to have some fun.
How do I sound?
Oh, you sound normal now. Sound good.
Okay.
Sound like Dub again, but I can't see you.
Well, that's because I was not coming back on air until I sound like myself.
Yeah, you sound like yourself. No more Alvin, or as Knox said, a little Michael too.
Well,
Yeah, they're just wrong.
said, as Chris was, well, you know, us light skins always get attacked for everything.
Right?
That's just what it is.
Look, I can't wait for the NFL football season to start, so that way they can start attacking other people besides us.
Right. But even then, they will still try to find a way to get it back to us, because that's just, what it is.
You are not wrong, my friend. Yeah. You are not wrong.
Now, why can I not get a virtual background going here? Okay, you know what? Screw it.
Anyhow. You know what? It's funny. When I came in, I was having problems with my virtual background as well. It wasn't letting me do what I needed to.
Of course. You know what, Mizzle? Go clean some sheets to Kaiser. You know what? Which, by the way, he is part of the revised lineup that is Talking Ish with Dub and Chris. We will have our next show hopefully sooner rather than later, and we will also give our yearly NFL prediction show later on, to where you might want to make sure you got your beverage and some snacks, because that's going to be a pretty long show. To where we have friends across the network giving their thoughts on the upcoming NFL season. As Chris mentioned, the Winter Clash will take place in January, so it won't technically be a fall brawl per se, but it will still coincide with a title game in January, the first 4 weeks of January. And then we will prepare for season number 11
it's crazy.
In the A7FL, to see if the Insomniacs can indeed do something that no other team has done, which is three-peat. You know what, Acehole? You be quiet, okay? How about that? All right?
Mizzle's just going off. One guy that's not on the damn show, and he's just going off.
Well, he likes to do that when he's at work. Although he'd probably be saying the same thing if he was here on the air, knowing him like I know him. Dang asshole. But But anyhow,
Don't get him
now
going. Don't get him
here's
going.
I don't need to get him going. He can get going off of his own leisure, and you know that. But a question I did want to ask you, sir,
True.
is
Yeah.
is the stealth, that the Silver State Stealth, is that a team for the winter? Is that a team trying to be trying to be a legacy team? Do you have any information on that?
So, you know what? I don't have a whole lot on that. What my understanding was that there was going to be some new teams coming in for Fall Brawl, and I can't speak 100% on it. I know that Derek was looking at doing a few different things with Fall Brawl, and also to
Mhm.
bring stuff forward into the regular season. So we're basically going to have like I think we're going to wind up with different divisions. So teams are playing more competitive games. So it should be interesting. It should be interesting in the 2025 season. Fall Brawl is going to be interesting as well because I think we're going to see some new teams. And he's thrown out a few things, and I don't want to speak for him for sure. But I know he's thrown out even last week when we were all on here. If you remember, he even talked about doing a tournament style for Fall Brawl this year.
Correct. Yes. 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 Well,
So
I'm just asking because I know the Silver State Stealth, which is done by Coach Lee. He's been having tryouts, so I just
interesting.
wanted to ask if you possibly had any information about that. If they were trying to be for the spring or for the winter clash coming for January, that remains to be seen. But there were some posts out there in the ASNFL Nevada players page, or the ASNFL Nevada page, talking about who Knox just asked, who are you guys excited to see coming out of the Nevada Division Fall Brawl? Well, for me, I will say I really did like how the Alienators played this past Fall Brawl. Obviously, we got introduced to Jaden Webb and Devontae Moncrief. Those two guys were a very dynamic duo for that particular team in the Alienators. I hope they would come back. For one, because they have very nice, cool-looking jerseys, and it sucked that their jerseys did not glow in the dark in the nighttime. But definitely was interested in seeing those two play. I mean, it was interesting seeing how some players from the Force participated during the fall. Will that happen again? That remains to be seen. Mizzle just said from the Mizzle and Dub show he would like to see how Sick bounces back. Which version of Sick will we get in this Winter Clash? And the same thing with the Insomniacs. Which version of them are you going to get? Are you going to get the core players, or are the core players going to take the fall off and let the, I guess you would say, the B team, if you will, take the reins during this winter clash and just rest up and get ready for the national season? That all remains to be seen. Like I said, all this stuff will start in January. If 2-5 comes on, maybe he can give us a little insight because he is on a conference call at this moment. So right now it's just myself and Chris entertaining you, the masses, here on the Other Side of the Ball Network on
I was on the
episode
same
98.
conference call with him. I ducked off because I thought it would only be the two of us on.
Oh, okay. Well, there was some questions put up there in the Son of Nevada page. One of the votes was they want to know who do you think is the rookie of the year in AC? And Knox has a question for Chris. Who do you want to see, Chris?
Oh, coming out of the Fall Brawl? I think that was the same question, right, that he asked you. I don't,
Yes.
at this point in time, I
I'll
don't
post
know
back
who's
up
going to be
again.
in the Fall Brawl. Okay. I don't know who's going to be in the Fall Brawl. So my curiosity question is, who are we going to have? I would like to see a couple of new teams, to be honest with you. And then I would like to see where we go, because the legacy teams, obviously, like we found out from last year, there's a lot of question marks on how that was all going to break down. I don't know if it's going to be any different. I have no idea. I haven't been told. So basically, for me, um, I'm excited to see new teams in Fall Brawl. Funny enough, I was just over at Verizon. My daughter's phone was having a little problem, and one of the kids there played for the Pit Bosses last season.
Oh, nice.
And so he said he was looking for a new team to jump on. And I told him, well, you know what? Give me a call. Let me know um, when you're looking for a team. Let's see if we can't find you a different team if that's the route you're going. Because he said he wanted to continue to play. So I think that realistically, what I want to see is I want to see the new teams that come in. And those are the guys that I'm anxious to see because I think we're going to wind up with new faces on different teams, and I think that's going to kind of make things more fun.
Well, Mr. Hornbeak
Yeah,
said
I agree.
the stealth,
Yeah,
and
to see
now
what.
Knox just said that.
Yep. So are people having problems finding us? Because I heard about our the page.
Okay, now the Facebook page, for some reason, disappeared when on one of the episodes of the Mizzle and Dub show. I guess Facebook got in their feelings about Stephen Curry because I was posting pictures of Steph Curry from the Olympics, and I guess that was a copyright issue, and for some reason it just disappeared the whole page. So Nick Blaze, who was the creator of the page, has to be the one to, I guess, get it back per se. So we'll see what happens with that. So
That's odd. So
yeah.
how did what you were saying affect that? Was that because we're now all on the on from different platforms? We're still on the other side of the ball platform. Is that how that all happened?
I don't know. All I know is it put me in Facebook jail, to where I could not respond. I couldn't respond on Messenger. I couldn't respond on
Facebook's
on my
all
own
over your feelings.
on my own page. I couldn't post up. Like, I can read comments. I can read likes.
Yes.
I can read. I just couldn't respond.
You in how long you in jail for? 30 days?
No. Like 3-4 days. I was free last night.
So would I be wrong to say that I think that there is, and I won't use them because obviously some of the stuff that we say, and we're not on Facebook right now that I know of because of this.
It's all
So
YouTube.
I could go ahead and say Facebook's full of shit. They have and always will be full of shit. I've been in Facebook jail on multiple occasions for speaking my mind, and as far as I'm concerned, Facebook can kiss my ass. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But what if they want to?
Yeah. What if they want to kiss my ass?
Yes.
Well, I'll make sure that I don't wipe for about a month and they can come kiss it. Not on the left side, not on the right side.
Oh, baby.
How shitty it was. I just, I've kind of had it with them because they were actually gonna delete my account and sent me an email, had me jump through all these flaming friggin' hoops, and then when I went back to them and said, you know what, no, I'm contesting this, they dropped everything. And they never told me why or what I had done to move to that place, when all I said was I laughed at somebody's post about some dude throwing the ball to his son. We all know how it's going to end. He was tossing the ball to his son playing baseball. His son was looked like he was between 4 and 5 years old. The kid hit a absolute dinger right at him and hit him in the nuts. And so I laughed at that.
Yes.
I thought it was funny as hell. And somehow that got the whole thing started, and it was right across. I'm like, come on, man, really? So I mean, it's look, dude, I'm so sick and tired of Facebook, because it's like, oh well, you got to follow our rules. You know what? Go fuck yourself. That's me being very honest. Go fuck yourself, Facebook.
Folks, we call that passion. Here.
Yeah, well, I'm going to change the name of Facebook to Fuckbook.
Never at a one at a loss for words, one Chris Vera. But one of the questions asked, on the A7FL Nevada page was we want to know your opinion on Rookie of the Year for A7. And there were some the three people that were listed. And of course, you can add other players if you want to. But one was Jeremy Reeves from the Insomniacs. One was Michael Lugo from Sickwood, and of course, Jaden Webb from the Force Switch. I mean, really, with those three, there really is no wrong answer for Rookie of the Year. I mean, they all were.
Three of them, 'cause that's what I like.
I mean, you really can't. There is no wrong answer with any of those three. There really isn't.
I would have to agree. I mean, it seems like you can make cases for all three of them.
Absolutely.
Individually, I mean, Lugo, turned out to be one of the better offensive linemen in the league. I thought that he could hold his own against pretty much any rusher. I would like to have seen him go against some of the guys from BIC. That would have been a fun watch. But overall, I mean, Reeves, dude, he might as well put an S on his chest. I mean, that kid is the real deal. I like watching him run around and make plays. And the thing about it is, he didn't just play linebacker. I mean, he covered the slot from time to time as well. So, I mean, to watch him run around and make plays was also something to be seen. And who was the last one that you said? Sorry, as you're drinking water.
Jaden Webb.
Jaden Webb. Oh, dude, seriously, that kid was off. That kid.
Well, we all got a glimpse of him in the fall brawl, and then what he did in the spring. Oh my goodness!
Right? I mean, you're right. There's as far as I'm concerned, all three of them. If somebody, and I know if Derek was on right now, if he wasn't doing his the meeting that he's doing right now, I know that he would be like, okay, you guys got to pick one. No, and usually I'll follow suit and I'd be like, okay, come on, Dub, we got to pick one. I can't do it. And that's not being a homer. That's just looking at all three of these guys and saying all of them are deserving. Every single one.
This is my answer. There is no wrong answer.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, people could come at us for saying that, but I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, if you've got your favorite, vote for him. Vote for him.
Or I would add this: D, all the above.
Right. You know what? Can we do that? I'm going to go on the page because it says add whoever you want. I'm going to put D, all the above. See what happens. Eric will be pissed at me. Chris, why'd you do that? Well, dude, because there's not a wrong answer.
There is no wrong answer when it comes to those three gentlemen and the contributions that they made to their respective teams this past season. Obviously, Lugo was a huge part in Sickwood beating the Insomniacs in the regular season before the Insomniacs got revenge. Were in back in the playoffs. I mean, Jaden Webb. I mean, what did he not do offensively on throw and return, playing on defense? Was a huge contributor for the Force during the spring. I mean, with there is no wrong answer with that particular trio in regards to Rookie of the Year.
I got to show this because I didn't realize that Knox put that
there. Free the light skin. Yeah, we need to be free. You right.
Yeah, we do. Y'all dark skinned guys just kind of get in our shit all the time and don't let us say what we need to. But I appreciate y'all.
Oh, that breaks my heart. I did not know that.
What's that?
I did not know that a longtime Vegas radio staple, Dave Kogan, passed away at the end of July. I did not know that.
How old was he?
71.
Oh, wow. That is not, today's standard, 71 is not that old.
Well, we just got some sad news to report from Nick Blaze that he just came in saying, unfortunately, the account is gone. I have no options. Even Mama Blaze has nothing. Wow. Well, for that note,
can I just say this real quick? I mean, I've had friends try to delete their Facebook pages and have so many problems deleting them and getting rid of them. And yet here we are that they were able to do it so easily. I mean, I wish I had an answer for that. I guess the only thing for us to say, hey, Nick, if you're listening, obviously you are, otherwise you wouldn't have put that on there. Can you start another page for us? Get things moving again.
Well, I'll just say on my behalf because, like I said, apparently they get in their feelings about Steph Curry. My bet on that because I didn't know Steph Curry. Nobody got notifications. Like I said, we were in the middle of doing a show and it just kicked out that page in the middle of doing a show, and just like it was like Thanos snapping his fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet in Infinity War, and everybody just disappeared. Like it literally went like that. But on that note,
were the fans that we had almost 1,000, were they on the YouTube page or were they on the Facebook page or both?
well, Nick just said working on a new page coming soon. So there you have it. So it is.
Well, I think that,
it is in the works.
yeah,
To which we say thank you, Nick Blaze.
You know, and I want to I got hit up a couple days ago, friended by one of the kids that plays, and I'm sorry for I don't want to offend anybody for calling them kids, but anybody who's that much younger than me, I got to call a kid. But anyway, Mr. Lee or Mr. Hold on, let me make sure I'm calling him by his right name. I hate to freaking say this wrong. Lee Brook. So he plays. He's in Florida. The Thanos is. So anyway,
no, because I was going to ask you that because he also sent me a friend request. And I was like, who is this?
Well, I took his friend request and I'm looking through it, you know, because I wanted to see what he's about. And there's a couple of guys, obviously, from A7 that are friends with him. And funny enough, my nephew and my cousin are both friends of his as well, which I thought that was very interesting. But what he does is he does caricatures. So he turns any picture you have into a cartoon.
Oh, and got it. Okay.
It's not bad. And so I told him, I said, I'll give him a shot. I'll give you a shout out. You know, he gave me the kind of the full court press, and I'm okay with that. I get it. You know, he's hustling, and I'm all right with anybody who's hustling to make a dime. So I just told him I'd give him a shout out on the show. So there you go, sir. And as I told you, post your stuff, include me in that post, and I will make sure to repost it for you.
Well, maybe. If he would like to come on the show to promote his business, maybe we can do that for him and give him a visual platform for him to talk about his product. Because
might not be a bad idea.
I mean, we're all about trying to help somebody get started and get their promotion stuff going. This, then, the third year. Because I mean, everybody wants an opportunity. Just like we've been doing this podcast, to which it's hard to believe we are 2 episodes away from reaching the magical number of 100. That is.
We got to do something special for that.
I agree.
We got to do it at a bar. We got to have nothing but guests. We got to do something special. Oh, and by the way, just real quick, I'm going to try it. I'm not saying it's going to work, but I'm going to try to be Tony Stark for a second. And hold on.
All right, he's going to try to do some.
Did that work? Did we get back our page?
Well, you need 5 stones for that, my guy.
Well, shit! I thought it would be good.
If only that was the case. Which, by the way, interesting to see. Robert Downey Jr. come back to Marvel and now portraying Victor Von Doom and putting on the Dr. Doom mask.
And I don't want to go down too far down that road. We could do that on our show on Talking Ish. But the more I look at some of the stuff that's going on, it's interesting to see how A7 is turning, right? And what I mean by that is just the talk, what people are saying. More and more people that I talk to, and I'm in Vegas quite a bit now, working with this new job that I'm working with, and I get to see a lot of locals. And I was pleasantly surprised of a lot of the guys that I talked to within the industry I sell into, which is the electrical industry,
Hmm.
along with lighting. More and more people, hey, do you know so and so? He plays for this team, and it's like, yeah, I know who that is. Oh well, dude, I didn't know about A7. He told me about it. Now I'm watching. I'm always watching you guys play, and aren't you one of the commentators? I'm like, yeah, I recognize your voice. Yet these are people I've never met in my life. So some of them, not all of them. The interesting one was, and that's when we had Zelly on the show. I was going to tell him, I ran into a gentleman at one of my customers that was a big fan and knows him, and I showed him that last play where he kept Pack from going anywhere with the hit, and at the end of the game, and he was blown away. He said, "Man, he kept telling me about it, but I didn't see it." So I showed him the last two plays of the game, and he was impressed. So it's interesting to see how this thing is starting to spread. It's interesting to see how more and more people are looking at playing, um, because they want something a little bit more impactful than flag. So, and by no means am I
Hmm.
downing flag at all. I'm not. But I mean, hell, I played in
I
that
mean,
league
heck,
for 20 some odd years. So,
it's about to be an Olympic sport at the next Summer Olympic Games in Los Angeles, and I mean,
one,
heck, it just
have you heard some of the names that they want to come and play
yeah,
in the flag league? I mean, in the flag
yes.
in the Olympics. I mean, we're talking. Um, I heard Micah Parsons saying that he would like to start training for it, and then I was watching Hard Knocks with the Bears um, this morning as I was getting ready, and lo and behold, who do I hear? Caleb Williams. Hey, is this true? I would love to quarterback for the Olympic team. So I mean, these guys are taking it seriously. I don't think that this is something that is going to go away um, from the pride, especially watching a lot of these pro players that played for, obviously the USA in basketball.
Well, to answer your question, 2-5, I mean, for one thing, if there could be like more clips and commercials out there, or placing more clips on, the A7FL Nevada, Twitter feed or the Instagram feed and stuff like that, and TikTok stuff like that, trying to make it as viral as you possibly can. Um, I know if I know if
Well,
I was I know if I was Fox 5.2 or the Silver Sports Day Entertainment, where I would try to put up more commercials promoting it. Also, I would say show replays of past games, or show replays of your past best games from the past season, or seasons before, and show that, and also promote that. And also just try to talk to local, city-owned businesses and whatnot, and just be like, hey, well, put our games on, or try to establish a sponsorship deal, just like the Insomniacs have the sponsorship by Jeep Only, like Sickwood has one with Chicken Shack. Um, and
well, I mean,
speaking of,
look, I think that all those are great ideas, but I think the one thing that we can do that really brings attention to it is because I mean, we all have friends and family that are on our Facebook pages, right? So
correct, correct.
if you're doing things on the Facebook page and you're doing clips of games and showing different things, and we as members of A7 start putting that on our Facebook pages, you will start to see more and more people come. Now, granted, yeah, you're going to hit a lot of the same audience because a lot of us are attached. What I mean by that is we're friends. Obviously, they're going to see the same thing, but it also
There's
gets out.
a lot of mutuals.
Yeah, but it gets out to a larger audience as well. And I know I got family back east that are watching the games that are being played back east because I started posting some of that stuff on my Facebook page. So I think that's part of it. But I also think that while you were just saying it, the interesting piece is my niece here in town. She works out at one of the off name fitness places. I couldn't tell you which one it is. Planet Fitness or one of those other ones. So it was very interesting because she came over after last year's championship, and she's like, all hyped. She's like, I was watching your championship game. I go, where were you watching the championship game? She goes, at my club. They had it on every TV. So for whatever reason, don't know how it went off, but Planet Fitness or whoever she worked out with had it playing on all their TVs during our championship game on Sunday. So I thought that was very interesting. And I'm like, well, you know what? If we could get more and more people, like you just said, doing and tuning in, because I mean, realistically, Championship Sunday, what else is being played? So I think it's a perfect time for us to, well, let me back up and say, I think we are the perfect segue to get everybody ready for the NFL. What I mean by that is our championship game gets everybody's juices flowing for NFL football. I think that if we are smart, we kind of utilize that to say, and I think Matt Ryan said it, it's very tough to compete against the NFL because of the way they're put together. And I kind of tend to agree. However, we can also say very easily, yeah, we might not be able to sit there and say, okay, yeah, we can compete with them, but we can very easily say we're that that springboard, if you will, from no football into the NFL.
Or you can say that we are the appetizer, for lack of a better term, during the. It's like, okay, after the Super Bowl, no football. Come watch us from March to July to get your taste buds going for the NFL. I mean that's a very good segue. But I mean, like I said, I mean you've seen people get involved. I mean, just last year we got former head coach Mike Tyson involved with the combine in Bullhead City, which he was a part of the broadcast. Obviously, gave me and Sky the best video bomb of an interview during that. But I mean, just his involvement. Other players from the NFL Alumni getting involved and were interviewed. Like I said, what happened last year in Bullhead City was a huge win for the league. And then fast forward to this year, things happen. But I mean, at the end of the day, you want to try to enhance as best you can to try to get sponsorships, because Lord knows I've been advocating, like, Under Armour, come be our uniform distributor, or hey, or how Scott is keep throwing CBS out there and Tony Romo and whatnot. I mean, if this league could get a national TV deal, I mean that would be huge.
It'd be over with. But the thing that I was going to say is that you have to kind of and this might be a little bit of speculation on my side, but you have to kind of wonder when you have coaches, NFL coaches, and you know who I'm talking about. I don't always like to drop names, but screw it. Ben Roethlisberger has come forward and say he can't stop watching A7. Then you have
Mike Tomlin
saying the same thing. You've got other players that are starting to watch the game. You've got guys like Snoop that wants to be involved in A7, loves the game. They see what this is all about, and what we have to do is start to take control of that and make something different happen with it.
I mean, if you were to get him to run the LA division,
Snoop,
with his influence, I'm just putting it out there. I mean, heck, I know that I've been harping and hyping for a Bay Area NorCal division. If somehow if E40 was to get involved with this, with his entrepreneurial skills and invest in this, who knows what it could do for the market out there in Northern California and the Bay Area. I mean, if I'm just saying, this has an opportunity to really possibly go somewhere, but everybody has to come together as, for lack of a better term, for the common good, to try to see the bigger picture, because there possibly can be a bigger picture to this. I think what they're doing,
I think what Derek's doing with his meetings and trying to get everybody on the same page, I think is going to do nothing but help. The reason why I say that is because we're kind of fractured, right? You have the East Coast, you have the West Coast, and like I said last week, you know that needs to go by the wayside. This is all about A7, and now there is no longer big brother on the East Coast and little brother on the West Coast. Now we're just brothers. So to me, it's now time to come together. Let's put all the BS aside and let's promote to bring A7 to where I think it belongs, which is in the forefront. And I think it should be something where guys are looking at this and saying, okay, I didn't make it in whatever league. I'm going to go try out for the A7. And we should have teams out here that are good enough where we might be turning some of them down. But we're putting together teams that these guys are looking to get to that next level. And, there's a three-prong or a three-headed monster that's moving around where these guys are coming from areas and going back to areas to go play and really making a name for themselves. Because some of these guys, and I'll take, I hate to do it this way, but I've got to use them as an example. A quarterback like Trey Lance, you watch him play, you see that he is not quite ready for the game. He needs more snaps. And I heard somebody say, well, if he was able to get into a game or two last season, he wasn't ready. He was traded too late. He didn't go through mini camp. He doesn't know the offense. And all he's going to do really well is get a wide receiver killed. That's it. So, when you see guys like this and they can go to there is no feeder leagues anymore now that the NFL Europe is gone. So you need to be able to have you've got feeder leagues for the NBA. You have them for baseball. Where are they for football? Truly, where are they?
I mean, really, just really in layman's terms, really, it's just the UFL and that's it. But I mean, but also even that is so limited. But I mean, when the news broke out that a former All-Pro, former cornerback for the Raiders, Giants, and Cardinals, when DRC, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, decided to go take his talents and play for the Nightcrawlers. There was that, which was huge, which gave us some notability, gave the league as a whole some. Well, hey, they might have something going down here. If stuff like that continues to enhance the league, like I said, at the end of the day, the goal is for everybody involved in this league to eat and to eat mightily. So, like, if one gets it, damn it, we all get it. That should be the ultimate end game. That should be the ultimate goal. Because I know, and I mean, if Florida was to get some ownership that cared, like Derek does, and like Mr. Perez does in the Cincinnati, Indianapolis division in the Midwest, and of course, if the Northeast could get in order to invest that cares, as the previous gentleman I just mentioned, and if that get the ball going, and then you can get into some other regional areas. I mean, again, how much would the league enhance if we were able to go into the Texas, Oklahoma area, or if we were to, go into the Arizona?
Hold on right there. I just want to say this really quick because you're talking about probably one of the biggest states that has the most football area and talent and can really bring something to the A7 in Texas. And I really think that, because Texas looks at football differently, and we know this. It's a damn religion in Texas. And I think that if you're able to get A7 to be put together in Texas, you're talking probably about my thought would be, because of the division and the areas that they do it by, you're probably talking about 4 to 5 different divisions in Texas alone. I mean, realistically, the Dallas area, which would, I don't know if it would extend to Fort Worth because they keep some of that area collapsed on purpose when they do some of these high density areas like you have in Texas. Because I mean, you get outside of some of these areas and there's just not as many people. But I think in my eyes, when I stop and think about it for a minute, I'm thinking about Dallas, the Fort Worth area as being
Hey
two,
Travis.
about
Hey Travis,
Houston.
how are you?
What's up, Trav? The Houston area is being another area. There's so many different areas that you could lock into with the
Mm-hmm.
A7, where these guys would be battling the hell out of each other just from Texas. And
I mean,
whatever
heck,
team comes out of Texas, you damn well better keep your eyes open for.
I mean, don't forget. I mean, El Paso's the passage through to Arizona, so you got that. You got that connection. Of course, Knox has talked about Colorado. You got.
Excuse me.
I mean,
Thank
there's a lot of melting pots that could possibly the A7 can possibly sprinkle across, if it can all work out and come together, if you will.
Well, thank you, Travis. I appreciate that. I think you guys are all right, and I think that Colorado is a big piece. I think that Phoenix area is another big piece. I mean, we don't. I didn't realize I've got family down in that area. I did not realize I'm on one side of the city, and I'm thinking Vegas, right? We could get from one side of the city to the other without traffic, in the evening time in what 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It took me 45 to get to their house from where I was staying. And in reality, it was just on the other side of the city from me. But and it was all freeway. There was no areas where I was driving on streets for a long period of time. I got off the freeway at one of the exits and drove 2 minutes to their house. So when I sit there and I think about that, there's a lot of you know population density in Arizona that could do the same thing we're doing here, and I think could wind up being a very big division for the A7 because I think it could be multiple teams very easily coming out of it, Phoenix area.
I mean, yeah, I mean that is that is quite yeah. I mean that has the possibilities.
Well, I mean, you know, dude, let's be real. Um, Football is something that is not going away, and we heard from multiple people where what their thoughts were on football, and their kids playing football, and that was not the I guess what I would say, uh, you know, the end all be all, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the bottom line is what I started to see and what I started to understand was that, um, from more than one person. A lot of kids are now starting rather than starting in tackle football at 4, 5, 6, whatever. They're starting in flag, and then they're moving to tackle football. So it's a very interesting dynamic that what we're seeing. Football is not going away. What we see now more and more are kids that are starting in flag to get the understanding of football and then moving into tackle. So that in itself is a very interesting concept. So I think that as we start to talk about this and we start to expand, I think the funding, the sponsorships, and all that stuff really start to come into play because I think we get start people start taking us for real, and they start noticing what's going on and saying, "Hey, I want to be part of that." And I think that's where we start to change minds, and we also start to get the monies coming in from sponsors.
Well, I just want to say welcome, folks, to episode 98 of The Other Side of the Ball. It's me and Chris in tonight as we're just talking about some stuff. Also, there was some more categories that I want to bring up as far as voting goes. Just hold on one second.
Okay.
As soon as I can go back to the doggone page. So we had talked about possible categories for Rookie of the Year. We talked about Jane Webb, Reeves, Lugo. We said there really is no wrong answer, as Chris would say, D, all the above. Another category was Offensive Player of the Year. The four guys that, well, there's a lot more. There's a lot of people that were on this page. Of course, Mr. Wilkerson, Mr. Lavish Edwards, Scooter, Kenny Mack, Darren Palmer, and Jeremy Geary. Although there's probably another person that I would add to that list for Offensive Player of the Year. That would be Jaden Webb, because I mean, how can you not include him as being Offensive Player of the Year with the stuff he did offensively for the Force? But really, there really is no wrong answer in this particular category, because they're all talented players.
More than talented. I mean, when you start to look at that list, I mean, you're talking about guys that are, Darren Palmer, most touchdowns for a wide receiver last season, in 2023. Sorry, not 2024. Yes. I don't know. I didn't look at 2024 to see if he took it again. But you start to see some of these guys, and you start to ask the question, each one of them has their own. And I really think that sometimes in situations like this, we really should do it by position, because that's the only way in my eyes to give them their credence of what they've done. Right.
I agree.
My thought is, how do you take a Munchie and a Darren Palmer and say one's better than the other, when these guys both show up and show out every single frigging game, and
in many different ways?
Yeah, and I mean, I would love to say something, or be able to say something derogatory about one or the other to kind of put the other one over one, and I can't. I mean, these guys are what I would consider some of the better receivers in the league, and when you watch them play, no knock to anybody, they don't disappear. These guys play.
They do everything.
Yeah, they block. They block downfield for their running backs or their quarterbacks, whoever is running. Then you got Scooter, who breaks a hand in a championship game and is out there still blocking for his running backs.
He literally became the fourth offensive lineman in that championship game.
So, I mean, when you start to look at some of the stuff that these guys are capable of doing, I'm right there again with what you're saying. None of these guys, if you choose one, none of them are wrong.
No,
not at all. I mean, and I get it. You have to pick one. And to me, part of that is I kind of look at it and go, well, good luck. Because for me, it's like, give me, if there's 7 of them, all right, cool. Pick a number 1 through 7. Jumble them up for me. I'll pick a number, and then that's who we'll go with, because I can't, downplay any of them. Kenny Mack, dude, I can make there should be an offensive lineman of the year award. If that's where we're going with this, it shouldn't just be an offensive player. Give me an offensive lineman of the year award. Give me a wide receiver of the year award. Give me a quarterback of the year award. All these guys that we're talking about, and even a ton of guys from back east, all deserve to have their names mentioned. So I think that it should be broken down by position, not necessarily just, okay, offensive player of the year, rookie of the year. Okay, yeah, we could pick a rookie of the year. I get it. NFL does that. We could do that. Many other leagues do that. We could do that very easily. But when it comes to these positions, dude, it in my eyes, you almost have to do this by position. And I agree with Knox. You also need a special teams player of the year award, because I mean, you got guys. How do you leave a Danye Lyons out after what he did in the championship game? How can you leave him out after what he did all season? And not to mention, do you put him up there too on the defensive side because of what he was able to do against what was considered one of the better receivers in the league in the championship game?
2 catches.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. These are things you cannot overlook. Period. So that's why I just kind of look at this thing and it's like, oh man, I is it just better that I don't vote? I mean, I don't I don't want to go that route.
That's like if you are a father that's saying pick your favorite child. No, because you love them all in your own unique way. They are both special in their unique ways. That's like, that's yeah. Okay, Knox says that ain't why I said that. There's more special teams players deserving.
Now, I agree with Knox, and I know that eventually he'll get to the point of, the guy throwing the ball. We all know where he's going with that. So I mean, we can look at these in different lights, but what I'm saying is, when it comes right back down to it, we have to kind of take the blinders off and understand that there's guys that are great coverage guys. There are guys that are yeah, Knox, I know you're going to tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. There's guys that are just great coverage guys, and they make tackles when they need to. And the thing about it is, I look at what happened with the Force and how some of their players made a difference once they switched up their 3-on-1 guys. But I also look at what happened with the Insomniacs once they changed one guy, two guys on their 3-on-1 attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when we start to look at these things, you have to start kind of standing up and paying attention to them. Because my question mark is Zelli doesn't go in there.
Mm-hmm.
We see another 2 returns.
Mm-hmm.
And these are things that we can't answer. I get it, but the question mark's still there. Would we see something?
Well, we know what happened when he did enter the game. Once he
Exactly.
entered the game, it changed everything. A lot. I mean, we all knew that Cannon was if once Cannon gets a hold of you, you're more likely going down because he doesn't. It's very hard to break his tackle once he gets a rub at you.
Yeah.
And Knox just said my point exactly. It ain't always going to be a returner. What about those guys that are making? Well, that's why I'm talking about Cannon right now. I mean, I go back to last year. Cannon and Stone Stevenson put the clamps on BME Keys. BME Keys had that one good return at the start of the game, and really the 3-on-1 was not a factor at all for the Nightcrawlers in that championship game in Bullhead. Again, we go back to July 21st. Pac Money, the speed. He is a very fast man. Once they took out Cody Johnson and inserted Zelli, Pac Money was not a factor in the 3-on-1 for the rest of the game. Of course, Zelli made that big tackle before Munchie settled with the interception. But again, just Zell. I mean, and right after that, Zell was like, you know what? I don't care if I play offensive more. Just put me out there on 3-on-1 because I want to run through somebody's chest, in his words.
And he did. And then like you said, Cannon. Look, the thing about him is, I love the kid because he will let Stone. He'll even initiate the contact. Mm-hmm. Then he'll let Stone come up and grab the man, and once he knows he's got him, he's going after the football. He's going to try to rip that football out of your hands. And how many times did he do that last year?
Yeah,
right?
A lot. Yeah.
And so that is something that is kind of a specialty for him. And, that gave the Insomniacs multiple chances at the end zone again. So, yeah, I agree with you, Knox. I think that and I was messing with you, of course, but I think that there's also a special teams award that I think definitely needs to be, guys need to be named for it. Because let's face it, there's just like in any other, when it comes to football, just like in any other style of football, if you will, you've got to win at all 3 levels: offense, defense, and special teams.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys were showing why they were special when it came to the special teams. And I could hear whatever you're playing in the background.
I just forgot to put on mute. My bad. Go ahead. Continue.
That was it. I mean, I agree. I agree with Knox 110%. I think that there's stuff that needs to be awarded, and I think that guys deserve those awards. And I think that when we start to look at this from a standpoint of not just the returner, which we've seen gets the award, but what about the coverage guys? The coverage guys deserve it too. I mean, these guys are making sure these returners who are special. Let's not kind of downplay that. They are special, but I mean, these guys that are defending them are special too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I mean,
Absolutely.
let's give them, you know, I hate to use the word kudos, but let's give them their props as well. Let's make
Give
sure
them,
that they understand that
give
they're
them,
special.
give them their flowers, as Danye
Yeah.
and Packer like to wear those. Give me my roses hat. So they also put up Defensive Player of the Year. Now, again, I don't know if this is specifically for A7 Nevada or if it's for the whole league, but it looks like it's for Nevada. But so as far as Defensive Player of the Year, they have Chris Cunningham, Danye. I don't know why they have Danye twice on here, but they have
Typo.
Danye. I guess. We just talked about Mr. Reeves, of course, your guy, well, our guy, Mr. AJ McQuaig. Deion Southern, and Matthew Murphy. Again, all talented names put on this list. I mean, really, is there really a wrong answer with any of those guys? I mean,
No. I mean, obviously the guys that pop out are because they're part of the national championship team, Danye, Chris, and AJ. But I mean, the rest of the names on that list are very special too. Southern is very special. You've got guys that are from top to bottom, and I would agree with you. Again, you can't go wrong with picking any of them. I think that there's, we've got. It's interesting because we've got some very special players in this league that
and
are
there's
playing.
and there's a couple of names that are not mentioned. I mean, what Tone did for the Force this past season and how he helped control the defense. And of course, you can't forget about Big Oos Sal for sick. Another person on defense that.
And why isn't he mentioned as part of Rookie of the Year? This is his first season playing.
Who's?
Oos, the one you just talked about for Sick With It. It's his first. He didn't play last season.
Yeah, he did.
In 2024 was his first season.
No, he played in the spring in 23.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Okay, then I'm losing my everlasting mind.
Well, I mean, we do have his former teammate, and Knox can't confirm that. But yeah,
that's why I write shit down for work. Because if not, I forget things.
Well, I mean, notes.
Tomorrow you'll ask me my name, and I'll tell you, yeah, it's John.
Hi, Johnny. By the way, welcome to the other side of the ball. It's myself and Chris on episode 98. Hard to believe that and Knox is really going in on you right now.
Definitely wrong. So he's been there. Yeah, thanks, Knox. You didn't have to point that out again. You kind of
you know you know he wanted to, but hard to believe something that started, and I'll give you the exact date of when this all came together. The very first episode, and Knox said he played alongside of him on the defensive side of the ball. So all this came down on September the 9th, 2022. So nearly 2 years and on the cusp of 100 episodes of the other side of the ball, talking things A7 NFL Nevada, which started on a Zoom thing. Then we called the Gorilla Cross Studios home for a while, and now we're platforming on the platform that is StreamYard. We've had some memorable moments on the show. A lot of them we can't say here because obviously one Asgardian is not here, but certainly he has added some elements to the show.
Where in the hell
Per
is he?
se,
Well, I thought last time I saw he was in Missouri, but still.
yes, in Missouri on a lake, kayaking and making Packer go fishing with him, if you will. But
Yeah, and I noticed, by the way, let me just go ahead and say it. I noticed Pack is the one catching the fish. Just saying.
well,
Just saying. The Asgardian isn't very good at fishing.
but I mean, I I I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, it's
Love you,
just
Viking. Don't get mad at me. I'm just pointing it out.
we'll throw the hammer at him, Scotty, wherever you may be. But like I said, those guys alongside with Knox 25, and when he does chime in, Mr. Duncan, they give you a different element to bring you entertainment and to talk about A7 football, which again, like I said, we don't get to talk about this if it's not for the players, because as I've said many times, the players are the heartbeat of this league, and because of them, they get to display their talent, and we get to talk about it. Like I said, I always call, as I tell people, I call this the fun job because it's definitely not work when you're doing something, especially in a sport that you love, and certainly doing it with a whole lot of people that you admire, respect, and love. So, like I said, it's definitely the fun job, if you will. Getting to talk about this brand that is the American Seven Football League.
Can you even call it a job? I mean, this is if this was something that I did on a regular, even if it was for, serious pay for 12, 14 weeks, whatever. Um, I don't know if I could call it a job. I mean, when you're able to hang around, the guys that you love hanging out with, we do a lot together. Uh, you know, you and I will be watching our boys play each other come October, and the situation is as we go through this, I don't know that I can really call this a job. This is fun to me. This is something that I would do every day if I could. Um,
Mhm.
Even when we get down to the talking ish with the three of us last weekend, I mean, was how is that a job? I mean, I think it was more like 2.5 hours of us just friggin' laughing about shit.
Yeah,
Um, talking our crap about our teams and whatnot, but it's these are the type of things that or the type of moments that we love. And bottom line is yes, I get to say what I say on TV, and I'm gonna try to do a much better job this coming season calling games, because I think that some of the stuff that I was talking about, I was trying to find my way last season, and first season's always the toughest, and it
oh, it
was
is.
a situation where I'm trying to feel you guys out to see where I fit in, and I think I found my position now. So I think now it's going to be a little bit easier for us to go about doing what we do.
It
And
always it always is the first review, because I know when I came in last season, coming in trying to be a color guy, um, and then trying to find my voice to see, okay, where do I fit in with Casey and Scotty, and then of course now, trying to do the same thing, now being the play-by-play guy, and trying to, what, how can I set you up, how can I set up Scotty, and go from there. So I mean, it's always a work in progress, and I want to say I think our stride hit as the season progressed, and I'm looking forward to the Winter Clash in January, and of course, season 11 in March of 25. Because I mean, like I said, for some of us, I mean, I know for me personally, I'm trying to use this platform as best as I can, to the best of my God-given ability, to have some network out there. So you know what, that ball-headed light skin, he's got some talent. Let's try to hire him. But even if that was to be the case, I still wouldn't leave A7, because I just love what the brand is. I love what the league is all about. I just love um, the passion that these players play with, and just show you why there's some very talented individuals in this league that a lot of people don't get the chance to see, because they just don't. So
yeah,
I mean, we really do enjoy what we do and talking about what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. But hard to believe that back on September the 9th of 2022, uh, this platform that is the other side of the ball um, took its first growth and took its first baby steps. And now here we are, just 2 episodes away from
Blows my
the
mind that
magical
we're 2
number.
episodes away from 100. And
Yeah.
the thing about it is, it's funny too, because I remember when Derek called me and he's like, "Hey, um, so we're doing this thing called the other side of the ball," and I'm like, "Okay, what the hell is that?" And he goes, "We're doing a podcast." I said, "Oh, okay, well, cool. I'll start listening." And he was like, "No, I want you to be part of it." And I'm like, "So are we just going to sit there and talk shit? I mean, you tell me." And he's like, "No, we're going to talk about A7." I said, "Okay, I'm, obviously part of it, but I don't know players. I don't know a whole lot, but I know football." And he said, "Exactly, and that's what I want you on for." I said, "Okay, no problem." And I said, As long as I can speak my mind and we're not going to, do any of that other bullshit, I'm good with it." And that's how that whole thing started, with me getting involved with the other side of the ball. Now, like I said last week, and I'll keep saying this and saying it and saying it. Um, my thing here is not to make anybody feel less of a player or anything like that. It's just to talk truth. And we're not going to make friends all the time, and sometimes people will call us a homer, and that we like one team over another, or one player over another. Fact of the matter is, I'm going to give flowers, and I'm going to steal your line there for a minute. I'm going to give flowers to the players that I see that are doing the best job. And if
Mm-hmm.
you are not doing a great job, it's very interesting to me, because I've had players like Kamari Michaels reach out to me. "Hey, what can I do to get better?" And instead of, even though I didn't say the greatest things about him, he wanted me to let him know what he could do to get better. I get that. And those are the things that I love. When you have guys that are out there, and they know, okay, I've listened to the commentators, I've rewatched the games, and instead of taking it to heart, they're saying, "How can I get better?" Dude, I'm always going to be there for you, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on things. Right, wrong, or indifferent. We can have that conversation, and that goes for players, that goes for coaches, it goes for anybody. Um, I've been playing this game since I was 8 years old. Doesn't mean that I know more than anybody else. No, no, it doesn't. It just means that I've been invested in playing this game that I love, and now I get a chance to talk about it, because this old body just can't play it anymore. I would love to get into shape, and I would love to say, "Hey, I'm ready to play." Uh, that ain't gonna happen. And Dub, my wife. You know exactly what Tammy would say if I said, "Hey, honey, I'm going to play. I'm going to play football." Yeah,
she'll
my
start
cleats would be
she'll,
gone. Car would
she'll
be
start
gone.
she'll start talking some she'll start talking some ish, if you
Right.
will.
And my ass would be freaking sleeping downstairs on the couch. So
Mm-hmm.
there's there's certain things that we do understand as we get older. And the thing about it is, I still love being part of this game. Yeah, I've had people tell me, "Hey, you don't look your age." That's great. I feel my age. And those are the situations that I've got to deal with. Um, but the fact is, there's stuff that I still have that I'm willing to share. And one of the things that I'm willing to do for this game is, have those conversations and see these young men out here battling their asses off. And if you think for 1 minute I'm going to clown them for being out there and battling, dude, I've been on teams, whether it was in high school or whatever. I've been on teams that were, you know, won a game, won 0 games, went to the championship, lost, um, and then, you know, rattled off a snot load of championships. So I've been on both sides, and I've seen that so-called underbelly that people don't like to talk about. So I'm willing to share my situations with everyone that wants to listen, and hopefully, can make more out of it, because of my love for this game. I don't care if it's NFL, NCAA, the USFL, whatever they're calling themselves now, UFL, whatever it is,
UFL.
if it's A7.
The CFL, yeah.
It to me, football is football, and there's certain situations that you could take advantage of, and that's called knowing the rules. And we watched it in some of the games that went on this past year, guys taking advantage of the rules, and other coaches and players complaining, hey, they can't do that. Yes, they can. So it's knowing and understanding those things that separate these teams. If you think for 1 minute that I couldn't watch the Insomniacs game against BIC as much as I watched the Insomniacs against the Nightcrawlers last year, I think I'm up to 6 right now. And last year for the Nightcrawlers, I watched the entire game 8 times and then watched another probably 4 or 5 fast forwarding through it. And right now I'm up to 6 on the Insomniacs and the BIC. And the thing about it is, I don't have any bad words for BIC. I mean, these guys battled their ass off. And if anybody was going to come to us and say, oh, well, they did this and they did that, you know what? I could say it about both teams. And you were one that sat there and listened to me before the game. And I told everybody that was on the podcast, I said, watch, you're going to have a situation where I think that the one thing that's going to come into play that nobody's believing in is penalties. And what was the one thing that came into play for this championship game was penalties. It took IC right out of the situation of being able to go for it, and 4th and goal from their own 40. That's not, from the 40. That's not going to be conducive for you to score points. So I knew, for whatever reason, that's one of the things that I brought up. Now, am I tooting my own horn? Sure, you could say I am. But I just saw that was a situation that could raise its head because of these two aggressive teams. And that's why I said it. So, bottom line, we're all having fun with this. And these two teams battled their asses off. And if anybody who's listening has not seen the championship game, which I'm sure isn't,
do yourself a solid. Go watch it.
Yes. And the thing about it is, don't just watch this year's, watch last year's, watch the year before, watch the year before that, and really get a feeling for what A7 is all about. Because when over the last 5 seasons, the championship games have been incredible. So go watch them, go see what you're missing, and understand what A7 is all about. Because I think that if you saw what they're all about, you would tune in every time these guys play. Period.
I mean, I really couldn't put it any more well put as it's being put by one Chris Vera. Continuing on with the hold on, where is it? I gotta go back to it. All right, here we go. Next category, as we're almost coming up against it. Another mention was MVP, and here are the names for MVP. Like, yeah, that part. All right, so there's, of course, Munchie, Eric Schufer Jr., Donnie Lyons, Anthony Wilkerson, Jeremy Gary, Josiah Sau from Sick, and Darren Palmer. So
I'm going to right now. I'm going to answer and tell you right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Translation.
Yes. 100% yes.
That might be the best comment of the Dylan.
Yes.
I spit hot fire.
Dude.
That one was good right there.
Yes, it was.
I mean, heck, I can possibly add Jaden Webb's name in there.
MVP wise, I think that he might be one name that you can throw in there. But I think the one piece, and I'm going to let you go through this, but I'm going to ask you, the one position or the one piece that I don't think is on there is Coach of the Year.
Yes. Yes.
And if it's not,
I
why
think
not?
I think that should be a category. Absolutely.
I think so too, because I think that there's situations where, you know, as much as and trust me when I say this, I think that some of that and the reason why it hasn't been on there is because we've seen so many player coaches from back east where they don't
Mhm.
think that a coach is necessary. And I get that. I totally understand it. I'm not knocking them for it. But at the same time, when you sit there and you look at what some of these coaches have been able to do on the West Coast, I can't take that away from these gentlemen. James, incredible coach.
Mhm.
Um, whether it's him or whether it's Mark Gray, whether it's some of these other guys that are out there coaching, they coach, Mac, another great coach. These guys deserve their flowers and they should be on there as well. I think that there should be a coach of the year because these gentlemen deserve their flowers for what they're able to do with these teams because they make decisions. Now, granted, and I get it. You can make the argument, well, there's multiple coaches on the Insomniacs, even player coaches. True,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
they all still come through James. And I think that, JB is probably one of the better coaches that I've seen. And I think that one of the guys that I would never ever take anything away from is Mark Gray. I mean, these two gentlemen, along with along with Mac, are some of the better coaches that I've seen in this league. And I'm not taking anything away from the East Coast whatsoever because I know they don't have coaches. I know they do a lot of player coaching, and I'm okay with that. But I mean, you've got guys out here that are really making tough decisions in these games, in these championship games at that, that are going to resonate and might actually be a situation where you're talking about them 10 years from now going, "Oh, do you remember when coach made this decision and it wasn't a good one?" And they're still living up to what they're doing.
But not just that. I mean, but the three head coaches you just mentioned, Mark, Coach Max Smith of the Force, and James. I think what is forgetting is they have staffs.
Yes.
They have.
Yes.
It's almost like an actual football organization, a football organization with who they have on their staff. Because I mean, we
Well,
go
and
back.
the award goes to the whole coaching staff, in my
Mhm.
eyes. If you
Mhm.
win coach of the year, the award goes to the whole coaching staff because trust me, it's not lost on me to watch James do what he does and to watch Dyson do what he does and watch all these other coaches that are underneath these gentlemen do what they do. I mean,
Jason,
these are
Tommy.
some incredible personalities and incredible coaches that are out there doing what they can for their teams. And it's a very interesting piece to watch these guys do these things because they are not what I would consider slouches. These are
Mhm.
guys that are out here doing what they do, and I'm just blown away with what they can do.
Well, again, I'll tell this story again. While we were obviously, I was privileged to be a part of the trip to Philadelphia and New Jersey. But I mean, just the Saturday before, we're in house number two, and like I said, it's Wilkerson and Mack and Reeves and a whole lot of Insomniacs players, and Coach Tommy and Coach Jason was in the second house, and they're watching dissecting film of the BIC, and here they go, it's pointing stuff out, talking about okay, this matchup right here, or you guys do this, do that, or if we do this, this, and this. I mean, they're just literally game planning for the for their opponent, and it was just just the structure of it all, and just how they had just attention to detail. It was very I'm just sitting there, and like I said, I'm just there in a sense for more support or just contributing however they want me to contribute. I'm just there saying like I'm just saying, well, I mean, this really does show that they really are a unit, and it really is to have the
It
old three
falls in line
musketeers
with what they
cliche,
do, doesn't it?
one for all and all for one.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was no different of what we did when I traveled with them back east to Cincinnati when they played the Chaos. I sat there and watched the coaches dissect what Chaos was doing, how they were doing it, and the piece that I can say now was even what defensively what they were looking at with Keno. and little keys, little things that he did that I'm just sitting there listening to them talk about it and blown away with what they were dissecting. And the thing about it is, um, I'm standing on the sidelines watching this game unfold, and the first, one of the first plays or one of the first series um, was AJ absolutely leveling Keno. And that was a situation where, um, one of the things that they talked about was the fact that if you kept him in the pocket a little bit longer than he wanted to, you had that opportunity to get that sack. And AJ did not slow. I mean, this dude, and this is why I said last year he was my defensive player of the year, because this man did not slow down. He understood the assignment. He understood what he needed to do and just absolutely leveled the guy. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm standing on the sidelines and I felt and heard the thud of him being sacked. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know if Keno's getting up after that. And it wasn't a knock to this young man. It was just watching AJ not just run into him, but literally run through him. And the way you would teach a defensive player to treat a running back or a quarterback. If you've got his back, dude, and you can see his nameplate, level his ass, because that's sending a message. And to be honest with you, nobody talks about it. I'll be the first one to say it. I saw a different quarterback from that standpoint on.
Mm,
Top 5 plays of the year. Knox, I'm with you. I think that's another thing that we should be voting on, and I think that is something that once those top 5 plays are picked, should be on our, whether it's on our Facebook page or anybody else's. I think that they should be replayed over and over, and I think that it's also something that should be passed along.
or maybe we should try to reveal that on the 100th episode, the top 7
Maybe we
plays
should.
of the year.
Maybe what we need to do is get together with Derek and talk about the top 5 plays, and that's something we reveal on our top
Or
100.
or top 7 plays of the year, since we already said it.
Yeah, would agree with that. Or I could also take it a different route and say, because we're Vegas 777, might be why we should just do the top 7. But I think that it's one of those situations where I'm not just going to look at Vegas plays, because I'll be honest, I saw some damn good plays from back east that I would put in that top 7 for sure.
Well, it doesn't have to. I mean, we can do a specific segment, best plays from Vegas, but we can also incorporate plays from the Midwest and the Northeast into this top 7 countdown, because we obviously want
Well,
to give.
I think it should be all of A7,
Yes,
right? Not just
yeah,
Vegas. I think it should be all
yeah,
of A7.
yeah. All
Let's
of it.
start let's start doing this. Let's start doing what we talked about. Let's Yeah, is it still Vegas versus everyone? Sure. It is 1,000% that. But let's also keep in mind that now it's all about us. And when we say us, it is East and West and Midwest together. Let's pull everybody together. Let's pull everything together, and let's make a top 7 where we're talking about every division, and we're talking about these guys, because I mean, there's some plays, and I think, Dub, you'll agree with me. There's some plays that we can put together right now that were that I saw this season, the U versus BIC.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously some top plays from the championship game. There's some top plays from the playoffs.
Well,
There's some
obviously,
top plays at every level.
and also there was the historic making 109-yard 3-on-1 return for a touchdown that took
Yes,
place in Florida.
exactly. These are all things that I think need to be talked about, and I think that these gentlemen deserve their time in the sun. And I think that as we start to give these guys their flowers for what they were able to do, it allows you to have that recognition from your contemporaries, where guys are telling you, hey, you did a damn good job. Some of the returns this year have been outstanding. I mean, just incredible returns. We've also seen some outstanding coverages from these 3-on-1s. We've seen some interceptions that have just been just incredible. Some offensive plays to come up with the top 7 is going to be very difficult, and that's at best.
Mhm.
And I'm just saying it. But I think it'll be a ton of fun trying to do it.
For sure, for sure. Well, final thoughts before we put a bow and a wrap here on number 98 before we say so long for now.
I think that one of my pieces that I will say is, and I truly, when I say this, I truly hope that the guys back east are listening, because I mean this. I mean, really mean this. We got um, guys that have joined us from back east. We've got guys that have been on this cast, that we've talked to, and I have a ton of respect for. Um, Fellas, it's time. It's time for us to come together as that fraternity that I talked about. It's time for us to put things together as a league, no longer just a division, but as a league. It's time for us to all come together and have some fun with this, and really start playing off each other and lifting each other up rather than pulling each other down. So, you know what? RTU, um, Loud, everybody. I don't care who you are, wherever you are, you're all included in this of what I'm saying. It's time for us to all come together and really push to have each other get over the top. And that's a shout out to everybody. I don't care your background, I don't care what's going on. If you're part of the A7, you're part of the family. So let's really start to push that, and let's start to make a lot of hay together, and let's make things our own. Let's start pushing each other. Let's start making things happen and really put A7 over the top. I think that's and by the way, no knock to over the top. Love those guys. I ain't saying nothing about that, but it's time for us to really start to pull together and make this league into something that I think it can be. So, Dub likes to say it. I'm gonna steal it, Dub. Take care of yourself, but more importantly, take care of one another. And I know I'm not saying that exactly the way you do, but I think it's time for us to really start to watch out for each other.
Well, on that, there really is nothing that I can possibly add to that. But I will say we like to thank everybody for chiming in and hanging out with us, as it was just me and Chris here on this 98th edition of The Other Side of the Ball. We will see you next Wednesday for episode 99, the Warren Sapp 99th edition of
Can,
Other
can we call
Side
it?
of the
Can we
Ball.
call it the Get Smart 99?
The Agent 99, missed it by that much.
Yes.
Yes, love
99.
Yes, 99.
That's for the old heads. Everybody else that doesn't understand that, y'all too young. Look it up.
Yes, look up Don Adams and Barbara Eden as Agent 86 and Agent 99 on Get Smart.
Yes.
One of the great TV shows of the 60s and some of the great secret passageways in television history. So we are really showing our age now. But nonetheless, for Chris, for Live at 25, for Scotty in their absence, and of course the executive producer of all this stuff, Mr. Duncan, and of course Nick Blaze, who again will be working on another Other Side of the Ball Facebook page. Again, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't know they were sensitive about Steph Curry photos. My bad. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. And yes, indeed, you guys, indeed take care of yourself and each other. And we will see you on the other side of the ball.